Where in the world is Santa? We've been waiting and waiting on him to show up for the Santa rally, and so far, not happening, right? Today, we had a pretty crazy day today. Look at all that red and green. Looks like a Christmas tree. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth as we get ready for Christmas next week and to hopefully have a Santa rally. So let's talk about this. This is Bruce Marshall with Simpler Trading. I'm going to go over what happened in the market today and a couple of ideas here for us. So let's jump right in. This is the ES, and what we have, this is the overnight session. That was yesterday. This is today, cash session. So yesterday, as you know, if you were trading, again, this is ES, one-day chart. We're going down here, and we took out that low overnight. We took out that low. That's not a good sign. But we bounced, and we got going, and right here is CPI. So CPI was released this morning, and showed inflation lowering, and we got a big bounce up here, and you see this right, where the gray meets the black, that's the open. Spike up, came back down. I was like, spike right back up, came back down, and then we're off to the races. And I'm like, okay, this is great. This is going to confirm that we are indeed, good to go, and we're going to rally, and no. And, oh, yeah, we are. We're going to rally. No, we're not. We're going to rally. No, we're not. And as you can see, this pattern, we just chopped all day. Now, and the good thing is we ended up about 50 points on the day in the S&P. That's pretty good. I'll take that. We did not take out well, you see this range. Obviously we didn't take out any of the overnight lows. So this is overall, even though we had some wild swings and we gave back a lot from these numbers up here, again, we still ended up nicely over the day. But let me show you what is more important here. We've been talking about this, and I actually posted about this on X yesterday, a couple days ago. So this was Thanksgiving. That Thursday was Thanksgiving. So since Thanksgiving here, and these are voodoo lines, we've been trading in this zone from voodoo skyline to voodoo skyline. Roughly, of course, we're out of it here. That's not exact, but we've been, trending higher here, then come back down to test it. Then a little bit higher, come back down to test it. A little bit higher, come back down to test it. A little bit higher, come back down to test it. And so I'm looking at this. This is a 20-day chart, just day after day. We're going back and forth, and unless you're trading futures or doing something, intraday, short time frame, that's tough to trade. And I posted it. I said, well, we got CPI. Hopefully we'll get some good news and we'll break out of this thing. And this was yesterday, and we completely broke out of the bottom end. Not a good sign. So we're going to get direction one way or the other. Most likely we got, the wrong way, right? So we came down here, and then today that is when CPI was released right there. And so we're back in the game here. We're kind of sort of, even though we're slightly below it, we're still kind of in the zone. Again, we've been under that. It's not an exact zone, but this is an area that we're looking at here for a little support. So we always look at the economic calendar. Tomorrow is Quad Witching. So today we had AM monthly option expiration for the indices, right? The S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell, etc. They expire today, but they're priced in the morning on the AM print, right? So tomorrow's Quad Witching. We got all kind of stuff expiring, so expect some volatility, and hopefully, we get back up here. Who's to say, but I'm optimistic. I'm pulling for the bulls here. We can, we still have a chance, as the Jim Carrey says, so you're saying there's a chance, right? Also next Tuesday, we have PCE, right? Personal consumption expenditures. That's the number one data point that the Fed looks at. That can also be a big shot in the arm to get us up here. And technically, the Santa rally doesn't technically start until after Christmas. So it'll start on the 26th and go this whole next week, right? And that can be when the market wants to move, a perfect example is right here. When the market wants to move, that's one day, that little black line. The market can move in a big way very, very quickly. So it's definitely not out of the question that or not out of the realm possibility that we can get up there to a new all-time high. Wouldn't it be great to end the year at 7,000? That's what I've been kind of looking forward to. I started putting trades at 7,000 probably 2 months ago, and have taken some off for win. Still have a fair amount on up there. We're at 60, or the all-time high is 69. This is the 69.53. We're at 68.23. We're not that far, right? Our expected move into the end of the year for the S&P at least is 153 points, which gets us to 69, what, 30? Yeah, SPX, not ES, but SPX. 69.30, that's only 70 points away to 7,000, right? And then we get a little tailwind with Santa Rally, or good news, whatever, and we can get there. Now, it can work the other way. Obviously, I'm optimistic, but I'm also realistic. We get some cold water thrown on us from somewhere, tariffs or some bad PCE numbers or something, data points, Fed speak, all that kind of stuff can happen. We can go the other way, and then it's gonna, we're still gonna have a good year overall in the ES and the S&P. It's been a great trading year for me and for Simpler. It's been a really, really good year. Even if we do pull back, it's still a really good year. But again, we're all hoping this thing ends up here at 7,000 end of the year. That is where all the volume is starting. Has been piling up there actually for a little while if you look at volume and open interest. So the other thing I want to mention here, I am looking at gold. I like gold here. I think gold goes higher. I also think gold is a good hedge. I know a lot of people like trading gold. One of the names that I want to mention here, let me put this over here. Simple moving averages. This is gold. So that's a 20-day and that's a 50-day moving average. I want to keep it above that 50. See right there, 50-day, 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 50-day. Pretty simple, right? If it breaks there, get out. But we can do that easily. The stock I have in mind, the stock I like, I've traded this AEM, Agnico, Eagle Mines. I've traded this 2 or 3 times this year already for profit every time. And you can see our moving averages are really consolidating right there. It's a 20-day, 50-day right there, kind of laying on each other. Same kind of the S&P kind of looks like that as well, actually. But I think this breaks out. But guess what? Gold is a hedge, right? In general, it's a defensive name. Agnico is the second largest gold producer in the world. Good quality name. Want to buy it here. And basically, what we would do is to buy it here. Say around the 168 area, we'd have a stop under here, and I'll show you in a little detail in a second. So we'll stop ourselves out here if it goes down with a target up here. This is generically speaking, and we risk 1 to make 3, right? That's pretty standard procedure, right? Let me show you this. Let's switch this over right here. And again, 34 EMAs right here. These are 34 EMAs. I really like buying in this zone with a stop here below and a target here above. Again, we're going to risk 1 to make 3, risk 1,000 to make 3,000, etc. So anyway, that's an interesting idea. A lot of other good names out there. I'll just give you a couple. Of course, we like Google here. Come on, look at that. That's where you want to be buying it, right? One of my favorites, we've made a lot of money on this one this year, is Maztec. Look at that, pretty nice. And Seagate Technology, STX, right there. Good looking chart. There's still a lot of good names out there. So if you like these kind of setups, the idea, the concepts, whatever, join me at Simpler Trading. I'm in the main room. I also have a trade service that I do called Bias Portfolio. And, we talk about these names all the time and give out trade setups and all that kind of stuff. So join me there, and of course I'll help you any way that I can. Outside of that and other than that, don't load up too heavy. This thing, I'm talking about the overall market, this thing could break the other way. Again, we get some bad news or something. It could be a different story, and I'll show you real quick. Let me do this SPX real quick right here. So if it does, and we get some not so good news or some bad news or whatever, we can come down and retest that low. And this is very just ballpark, generically speaking. So don't rule that out, just because we're all pulling for Santa rally and all that kind of stuff. Don't rule out the possibility of this thing pulling back down here. So be a little defensive. I'm cautiously bullish, but I'm looking for opportunities and honey badgers and things like that. So with that, let me wind it up. Again, come join us at Simpler Trading in the main room or in the bias room. Glad to help you guys out any way that we can. So thanks for your time, and let me know how I can help. Thanks. Take care, and have a Merry Christmas too. Take care.
Without Simpler Trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me